Hey everyone, this video is going to focus on the MOKOSE HDMI 2 megapixel 1080p camera and my setup. So I needed a couple more things, this and a capture card to get this to work. So later on, either before this video or after, I will have the actual output of my setup. So let's get into it. I needed the AverMedia Dark Crystal. I've had that for several years. I tried to hook it directly from this HDMI port to my AverMedia card, and it was out of range. So I need a scaler. But first of all, you have to have the extension or the converter or the extension cord or converter cord there. It does S-video, video, left and right audio, and then the three ones that I used were the Y, PB, and PR. And that is also located on my little converter here. P, PB, and PR. So I just hooked that up and went through the different this is a button to go through all the different resolutions, and I'll go through that. When you first push it, the input is going to be 1920 by 1080p at 60 frames a second, and that's what this out generates. So what this does is it kind of can change the frame rate too. The first one was 1920 by 1080p, 60 frames a second, but then the output was 50 frames a second. And then the next one, the next resolution was the in and out was the same, 1920 by 1080p, 60 frames a second. So then the next one after that was 720 by 480i at 60 frames a second out. Of course, it's always using the 1920 by 1080p as the in. So I'll just be talking about the output. Like I said, 720 by 480i, 60 frames a second. Then the next one was 720 by 576i at 50 frames a second. The one after that is 720 by 576 at 50 frames. Then after that was the 720 by 480 at 60 frames. Then the next two are the 1280 by 720 at 50 frames a second, and then the next one is 60 frames a second. Then the next two after that was the 1920 by 1080i at 50 frames, and then the next one 60 frames a second. So maybe I'll have a list of that on the screen or down at the bottom, maybe at the end of this program or in the description. So once I got the AverMedia to work, that was the whole thing with the converter box, is to work around some of the issues I had with the AverMedia. But I'm sure there's plenty of other HDMI capture devices. I think I tried to use the HDML boxes. That worked to record, and I think I might use that to record some of the menu items. I'll have to see, because I'm not sure if it records, but it shows up on the video display. So yeah, it's straight to HDMI. So you will need some kind of capture device. So for this section, I really haven't gone through too much of the menu. In the video, I will be using the output of this camera, and I will let you know when I'm using the actual output, let you see this camera working with my setup I don't think I have anything to just capture the raw HDMI to I've got to convert it. So I don't know if I can get you the actual output, but I will be also using a USB camera. This is 1080p too, a slower frame rate, but I use standard definition anyway sometimes, and then just like zoom it in. And this is, I think this is 2 megapixel too, but it seems like this has a lot more quality. This one, the frame rates are reduced. They've got compression on here. I think that's MJPEG. But through this video, I will be using different cameras, and this USB camera will be one of them to maybe capture some more other video of this. So I think the next part will be the video output and maybe some of the menu items, if I can pull that off, and maybe I can get some of the actual changes. I might just try to hook this up to my TV, and just so you can see it flip through and the quality of it just on the TV. If you weren't recording it to like what I'm doing, I'm recording it to an MP4 file. If you were just viewing this, because they mention this as an HD security camera. The reason what I'm using it for is for my videos. Of course, these are really meant for security cameras, but I'm trying to go standard definition or high definition and seeing what I can do with these. So I'm not sure what the next part. It'd have to be the output, or I might do the output. I might have already shown you the output before this one. But I wanted to go through the hardware, and here's the front box. The more about the camera. CMOS image sensor is a 2 megapixel 1080p output. Like I said, 1920 by 1080, no delay, no compression, lossless, real time. HDMI 2 megapixel. Yeah, it says it's a CCTV security camera. It's not a night vision, which this SV Pro camera, this kind of has some kind of red shift in it. It's not that good a quality. It has kind of a redness tint to it, but this one has no night vision at all. And this has a 1/4-inch screw thread to attach it. The SB Pro is 6 millimeter. So, but they are handy to attach it to my mic stand. I don't want to really build a rig like a cage to use it. I just use a mic stand. So I probably should leave it there, or continue with more output. I haven't decided as yet. So if there isn't any more of this video, leave the comments about this in the comments section, and catch you next time, or stay tuned for more video output.